Brock Lesnar faces Gunther and Bron Breakker, the best and worst of WWE SmackDown. Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax's botched women's title finish explained. Jade Cargill's health status after a bloody SmackDown. Vince McMahon praised after WWE's recent ESPN Fiasco. A big secret from Vince McMahon's 80th birthday party leaked. A WWE Legends decision angers The Undertaker. The Rock's next big move. A major name goes off at IYO Sky. John Cena's final run gets rated. Let's dive right in. The best and worst of WWE SmackDown. Friday night SmackDown rolled out of Orlando, Florida last night, stepping up big time from the usual shows the blue brand's been churning out lately. Sadly, a train wreck of a finish soured the whole vibe. Still, SmackDown delivered another hit with the United States Championship Open Challenge, a fire opening with Cody Rhodes, The Vision, and Randy Orton, a classic Drew McIntyre rant cut short by a returning champ, and more. Let's break down the best and worst of this week's SmackDown. Number 1. The best, Cody Rhodes, Heyman, and Orton. Light it up. Paul Heyman kicked off SmackDown with his usual slick talk, saying a whole lot of nothing in the most entertaining way. Dropping Brock Lesnar's name a few times, he got cut off by undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes, who's gearing up to face World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins at Crown Jewel. Rhodes pressed for answers about Lesnar. Heyman played it cool, saying Rhodes should worry. Lesnar's return puts everyone in the crosshairs. Just then, Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker swarmed the ring, with Heyman brushing off Lesnar's threat as less pressing than the danger staring Cody down. The American Nightmare threw punches solo and held his own till the numbers caught up. Out of nowhere, Randy Orton, absent last week, stormed back to even the score, dropping Bronson Reed with an RKO. Cody might need more backup for Crown Jewel and a tight crew for War Games, but last night, the Viper was enough to hold it down. Number 2. The worst. Main event's botched disaster. SmackDown started hot but crashed hard with 2 botched pinfalls back-to-back. And get this, it was in a title match. The bout itself was shaky, sloppy in spots, no surprise there, but the wrestlers gave it their all. The ending, though, was a mess. Jade Cargill hit her Eye of the Storm, a big move that didn't land right, clearly missing the mark on Nia Jax. Tiffany Stratton was supposed to break up the pin with a kick to Cargill and steal the win, but Jax kicked out early, probably thinking Stratton wouldn't make it in time. Jax popped up right before Stratton's dropkick nailed Cargill. Then Stratton went for the planned finish, pinning Jax after the kick, but the ref held off, counting 3, even with Jax's shoulders down for what felt like forever, muttering something. Likely she thought it didn't add up since Jax just kicked out. Stratton finally hit her moonsault to seal it. The whole mess hopefully ends a brutal feud with fuzzy characters, weak motives, no real story pull, terrible promos, and subpar ring work that hit rock bottom tonight. This is what happens when you toss 2 green wrestlers and one known for sloppiness into a world title mix, with writers who seem less inspired than a 90-year-old at a rap concert. Number 3. The best. Sami Zayn's Open Challenge saves SmackDown. As expected, Sami Zayn's United States Championship win has been a game-changer, slowly breathing life back into SmackDown. His Open Challenges aren't just dishing out some of the year's best TV matches, they're pushing stories and shining up the presentation. So far, he's delivered gems against John Cena, handing off the torch with poetic payback. Rey Fenix giving Fenix a breakout solo spotlight, and Carmelo Hayes deepening Hayes' arc with The Miz. Last night, a recent NXT homecoming face stepped up to answer the call. Javon Evans, one of NXT's hottest young stars, shares some of Sami Zayn's spark. He brought his A-game against Zayn last night, and fans already know and vibe with him. Evans deserves props for stepping up big, but Sami Zayn's work these past weeks has been pure gold. He's clearly got a hand in pitching and shaping these story arcs with the creative crew. Number 4. The best and worst. McIntyre's truth, Fatu's return. After his WrestlePalooza loss to Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre hit SmackDown this week to call out Rhodes and WWE's top dogs, who he sees as basically one and the same. Nick Aldis pushed back on his claims, but here's the deal. The Scottish psychopath is dead right. WrestlePalooza's main event finish left fans scratching their heads over the wrestler's moves and the ref's calls. Why paint Drew McIntyre as this anti-authority rebel, especially when WWE's bosses are losing cred fast? And why do the main star's characters feel so shaky? Word is, McIntyre and Rhodes pitched Randy Orton botching and costing Cody the WWE Championship at WrestlePalooza. When that got nixed, it made Rhodes look soft and McIntyre look like a fool, cheated out of the gold just like he's shouting. Ironically, those same 2 words, soft and foolish, fit WWE creative right now. All this hits when Rhodes just won back the fans after being gone, and McIntyre did killer work building their feud. When Aldis shut down McIntyre, it felt like the higher-ups brushing off a legit gripe fans share. The only way forward is proving McIntyre right, with WWE's suits, in story at least, or even Cody Rhodes guilty as charged. WWE probably won't go there though, and that leaves a bad taste. If a returning Jacob Fatu is McIntyre's next SmackDown feud, neither guy can afford a loss. Both have been dragged through the mud these past months. Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax's botched women's title finish explained. The WWE SmackDown main event in Orlando went off the rails in a way no one saw coming. In a triple threat for the WWE Women's Championship, Tiffany Stratton defended her title against Jade Cargill and Nia Jax. The match had its moments, but a botched finish and quick thinking stole the spotlight. All three women traded near falls, but things flipped when Jade Cargill got busted open. She stared right into the camera, blood streaming down her face from a cut on her head. Late in the match, Cargill nailed Nia Jax with her Eye of the Storm spinning slam and went for the pin. That's where it got messy. Tiffany Stratton was a split second late breaking up the count, and the ref froze mid-count, even though Jax didn't kick out, making it super awkward. The crowd caught it and booed as the ref stalled. Jax slowly raised her shoulder, and Stratton paused before dropping an elbow. She sealed it with her prettiest moonsault ever to pin Jax and keep her title. TC from WrestleVotes spilled on X that Stratton was always set to win, but Cargill's injury forced a last-second switch. Tiffany was always scheduled to win, but Jade bleeding made them come up with a finish on the fly, resulting in the clunkiness we saw. The show was seconds from ending, piling on pressure to wing it fast. It's extremely difficult to communicate and execute everything on the fly so quickly when the show has less than 3 minutes until it's off the air. TJ Wilson produced the match and had to scramble mid-fight. TC from WrestleVotes added, the sequence at the end was obviously altered on the fly due to Jade Cargill's gash, but the winner of the match was always intended to be Tiffany Stratton. No word yet on whether Tiffany Stratton, Nia Jax, Jade Cargill, or ref Daphne LaShawn will catch heat for the slip-up, but it's a sharp reminder that live wrestling's no joke, even in the main event. Tiffany Stratton's win sets her up to face Women's World Champion Stephanie Baker at WWE Crown Jewel on October 11th, where the victor grabs the 2025 Women's Crown Jewel Championship. What's your take on SmackDown's finish? Was it a passable flub, or should WWE have nailed it better? Jade Cargill's health status after a bloody SmackDown. Jade Cargill calmed fans' worries after a wild SmackDown main event left everyone talking. On September 27th, she posted on her Instagram stories, confirming she's doing fine after taking a vicious cut in her triple threat match against Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax. The chaos went down on the September 26th episode of SmackDown in Orlando. Cargill caught a rough blow to the head on the ring steps during a scrap with Nia Jax outside the ropes. Blood gushed from her forehead, and medics checked her mid-match. Shaken but tough, she climbed back in and hit her Eye of the Storm on Jax before the now famous botched finish stole the show. Fans started wondering how bad the injury was, with some thinking Cargill was meant to take the win. Ariana Grace, Fatu, fueled that fire in a now-deleted Instagram story, writing, "No way, it was supposed to be Jade's night. Are you okay at jadecargill.com?" Cargill reposted it and dropped a quick, strong update. "I'm okay." That short line eased fans, proving that despite the blood and mess, she's holding up. The match wrapped with Tiffany Stratton nailing her prettiest moonsault ever on Jax to keep the WWE Women's Championship. Between the bloody cut, the ref's fumbled count, and WWE editing the slip-up out of the YouTube clip, Cargill's moment became the night's big talk. She's still right in the hunt for the title, and her grit just won her even more love from the WWE crowd. Vince McMahon praised after WWE's recent ESPN Fiasco. Inside sources recently broke down how Vince McMahon ruled his TV partners back in the day. WWE has jumped around networks over the years, from USA Network and Fox Sports to TNN, Spike, CW, Netflix, and plenty more. After the Vince McMahon days, TKO's new leaders kicked off a fresh chapter with WrestlePalooza. That show launched WWE's premium live events on ESPN, but ESPN didn't hold back. They slapped it with a C grade in an article on their site. On a recent episode of Brodown with host Mac Davis, inside sources explained how WWE got cozy with some broadcasters. They remembered consulting for USA Network, where the bosses feared Vince McMahon and WWE so much they rarely complained about the shows. A lot of people need to understand and realize that the WWE's main partner for years and years was the USA Network. I was consulting for the USA Network, and I could tell you they were in fear of Vince McMahon, they were in fear of the WWE. They never spoke up. The tail was wagging the dog, because let's face it, Raw was the most popular thing on the network. So WWE got very used to having partners like UPN, USA Network, and even Spike for a short period of time. The veteran added that big players like Netflix and ESPN play by different rules. They said these networks would make WWE answer for what they put on air. We got a little taste of what happened when they went to FOX Sports. We saw what happened. Fox ain't no freaking USA Network. And let me tell you, ESPN is huge. Netflix is huge. I think WWE has this mindset that they are bigger than ESPN and Netflix. You're not, guys. You're not. With premium live events hitting almost every 2 weeks, it'll be a tightrope for Triple H and his team to juggle fan hopes and network demands moving forward. A big secret from Vince McMahon's 85th birthday party leaked. Word is a wild detail from Vince McMahon's 85th birthday bash just came out. The ex-WWE CEO threw a hush-hush party on August 24th at the Gotham Hall in New York City's Baccarat Hotel. Tons of WWE folks showed up, but no one spilled much. Phones got banned, and everyone had to sign a non-disclosure agreement. Now it turns out the guests left with a one-of-a-kind present from the night. On X, Steve Stasiak from Book Pro Wrestlers posted a pic of what looks like the party favor from Vince McMahon's 81st, a bust of his own head. Vince McMahon gave these busts to his hand-picked guests at his locked-down, NDA-protected 85th birthday party at NYC's Baccarat Hotel. Phones not allowed or checked in. You're looking at this for the first time anywhere. Never posted before, the post read. In a separate Facebook post, Steve Stasiak said this bust wasn't some store-bought item. It was a nod that the folks who got it were trusted enough to be there and counted as part of Vince's tightest crew. The party drew stars like John Cena, The Undertaker, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, The Miz, Maris, and a bunch of other WWE greats. Sergeant Slaughter made the cut for McMahon's fancy two-night blowout. In an exclusive chat with Sportskeeda Wrestling, Slaughter gave some scoop on the night. He also shared that McMahon himself rang him up to invite the Hall of Famer. Slaughter let his old boss know he'd make it to the event. Since Vince McMahon got dragged into the Janelle Grant lawsuit over claims of physical abuse and misconduct, WWE has kept him at arm's length. Even so, a slew of current WWE talents turned up at his birthday party. A WWE legend's decision angers The Undertaker. The Undertaker has poured plenty into WWE behind the scenes since hanging up his boots. But now, a legend's choice has left the Phenom fuming. He never saw it coming. LFG is rolling into its second season, and the games flipped hard when The Undertaker's squad lost a key player. Things shifted big when Drake Moreau jumped to Bubba Ray Dudley's team, earning that group an extra point for the switch. That move hit the dead man wrong. In a fresh WWE YouTube clip, The Undertaker looked flat-out mad at Moreau ditching his team for a rival spot instead of just getting booted from the show. On top of that, the Phenom called out Shawn Michaels' call and grilled him, suggesting it came off more like a handout than a fair play. Is it technicality or is it charity? The Undertaker questioned Shawn Michaels. The show's still going strong, but The Undertaker's crew isn't out front like the others. It took time for The Undertaker to shake off his old dead man skin, since he'd stepped away from the ring after retiring in 2020 and getting his Hall of Fame nod in 2022. A bit later, he eased back into the game with a podcast. These days, the 60-year-old vet makes himself useful backstage, jumping in wherever he can. Earlier this year, he stepped up as a coach on WWE LFG. The multi-time world champ added a fresh honor to his stacked shelf when most of his team pushed to the finals. To honor the Phenom's guidance, Shawn Michaels named him the first ever LFG champion. The setup mirrors the Crown Jewel Championship, with new champs rising by season's end. It'll be a kick to watch which coach grabs the chance to claim the second LFG champion spot. The Rock's next big move. The Rock just teased a massive shift in his path. The WWE legend has crushed it in the ring and soared even higher in Hollywood, cementing himself as a top-tier star. But the final boss might be eyeing a whole new arena. While he's still riding high as a blockbuster actor, something else could be brewing soon. On the season premiere of Variety's Awards Circuit podcast, he dove into his upcoming flick, The Smashing Machine. The chat took a turn when they asked about his political dreams, specifically a run for president. The Brahma Bull didn't shut it down, nodding to the hype and leaving the door cracked open. It's wild, man. I'm always honored when people ask that. I love what I do. I love storytelling. But yeah, we'll see, he said. Talk of the former WWE champion jumping into U.S. politics has swirled for years. Back in 2017, the Great One admitted he was thinking about a presidential bid. In 2021, he doubled down, saying he'd consider it if the people wanted it. During a special UK screening of The Smashing Machine, The Rock got asked about his pride in his daughter, Simone Johnson, aka Ava, and her WWE journey. The Samoan icon beamed, saying he's beyond proud because she's forging her own way without leaning on his name. I grew up in wrestling. She was born into it too, just like I was. And when she said, I want to do what you do, but the difference is, it's why I get emotional. She's like, I want to do what you do, but I want to carve my own path. That's a difference, he told MTV UK. Ava's currently shining on WWE's NXT brand, running things as the general manager. A major name goes off at IYO Sky. Sky had a tough go after WWE WrestlePalooza when Asuka and Kairi Sane stabbed her in the back. The Empress of Tomorrow finally spoke out on the turn, ripping into the genius of the Sky for her choices on the red brand. Asuka hit the weekly shows again in June and jumped into a story with Sky, pushing to pull the old group together. But Sky built a tight link with Rhea Ripley these past few months. While they scrapped over the Women's World Championship, the Empress of Tomorrow hated it and told the Genius of the Sky more than once to back off from Mommy. After WWE WrestlePalooza, Asuka dropped a one-on-one fight to Rhea Ripley, and the Kabuki Warriors jumped Mommy on WWE Raw. Sky rushed in to halt the beatdown, but the pair flipped on her too. On Kanachan TV, the multi-time WWE Women's Champion broke down her moves from the show and unloaded on the Genius of the Sky for betting on a snake like Rhea Ripley over sticking with her and saying, "Hey, IYO, let me tell you something. I told you a million million times, stay away from snakes like Rhea Ripley, but you're completely dummy. You can't tell who's real and who's fake. Too late now, though. You're an idiot. You're going to be a puppet your whole life. Sad. We were together. I could have saved you, but whatever. Too late now. You dummy, such a dummy. You are such an idiot, Asuka claimed. Asuka also hit back at Sky's social media video where she was in tears, and the Empress of Tomorrow warned Sky against acting like the hurt one. I saw you crying. Girl, you betrayed me. You're the one who betrayed me. Don't play victim. I'm the victim. Don't you dare play victim. Poor Asuka. You're a traitor, Asuka said. Sky ruled the women's side on WWE Raw for a stretch, and the 35-year-old star now zeroes in on her on-screen ties with Rhea Ripley, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. The plot won't just circle two names, since Sane stands firm with the Empress of Tomorrow. This could push the women's tag team side forward, with Rhea Ripley and Sky teaming up for real to face the Kabuki Warriors in the weeks or months ahead. John Cena's final run gets rated. John Cena's WWE retirement tour wraps up in December, but his final chapter has been a bumpy ride with some head-scratching storylines and bouts. Eric Bischoff just weighed in on the 48-year-old star's last hurrah. John Cena's send-off has been full of surprises, but no one saw the franchise player flipping to the dark side and teaming with The Rock coming. That villain twist fell flat and fizzled out just 2 days before WWE SummerSlam 2025. The vet poured everything into the ring, but the plots and bookings felt scattered. On 83 weeks with Eric Bischoff, the WWE Hall of Famer scored the 17-time WWE World Champion's final run a C because the heel stint never clicked with fans or old-timers. People want to see a hero's journey. It's the easiest story. The heel turn attempt. Maybe the end of the movie ended up being pretty good, but you got up and walked out mentally and emotionally during the first 15 minutes of the movie because it didn't make any sense and you kind of opted out, didn't understand it. It didn't hit you in the feels the way you thought it would or the way you wanted it to, and it's hard to get it back. I would give it a C. Now, if you take the heel turn out and just look at the rest of it, probably an A- or B. It's been pretty good except for the way it started, Bischoff said. We'll have to watch who steps up as John Cena's last rival in December. John Cena never had a shot in Indiana against Brock Lesnar in their one-on-one clash at WrestlePalooza. Fans didn't see a total beatdown from the Beast incarnate coming as he slammed the franchise player with 6 F5s before taking the win. On the Coach and Bro Show, inside sources think WWE could spin a comeback tale and hand John Cena a victory over Brock Lesnar in December before he steps away from the ring. But inside sources also see a chance the company might head another way. Former WWE head writer Inside Sources talked about slotting John Cena versus Brock Lesnar at WrestlePalooza. They felt the match missed the mark on setting the night's pace. Lesnar and Cena opened WrestlePalooza with a singles fight. The bout stayed one-sided as the Beast overpowered John. He wrapped it up with 6 F5s and a complete wrecking of the Cenation leader. Plenty of young fans cried seeing their hero crushed in the lopsided mess. On a recent episode of Brodown with host Mac Davis, inside sources questioned the match's spot. They noted bookers often kick off with fast-paced action to fire up the crowd. The veteran writer said Lesnar versus Cena did the opposite and dragged down the whole event. They pointed out the creative team needed to spread the energy better. That first show is supposed to get people up. Guys, I was in TNA for 10 years. How did every TNA PPV start? With an X Division match. How did Eric Bischoff start a lot of the Nitro shows? With the Luchas. Because you want that first match to get the people up and get them all excited. You do all these high spots. Everybody knows. That's booking 101, that's formatting 101. We open a show with Brock Lesnar destroying John Cena, kids crying in the crowd, and then you gotta get these people up all over again? Does that make any sense? WWE already lined up John Cena's next foe. The star will take on AJ Styles in a singles match at Crown Jewel in Perth, Australia. Brock Lesnar faces Gunther and Bron Breakker. Word from Fightful says Brock Lesnar isn't lined up for WWE TV anytime soon, but WrestleVotes dropped that he's got spots in next year's Royal Rumble and WrestleMania 42. Building on that, our exclusive scoop on Lesnar and WrestleMania laid it out like this. He has one of the biggest plans lined up for him heading into the show. The details are not ironed out, but there is a lot happening that he is supposed to be at the center of. Now things change, but Brock will definitely be a big feature, and it will be unforgettable, absolutely. Keeping that in mind, let's dive into 3 unforgettable matchups Brock Lesnar could headline at WrestleMania 42. The cool twist? These stories and fights could roll without forcing good guy, bad guy lines. It might sound odd, but Dominic Mysterio taking on Brock Lesnar would make for a wild tale and a real banger. Truth is, it was almost set for Elimination Chamber in Perth last year, until Lesnar stepped away for 2 years over legal stuff tied to the Janelle Grant case. Still, Lesnar steps back into a changed world, where Dominic Mysterio isn't just holding the Intercontinental Championship. He's got way more grit, know-how, and family fire in him now. Lesnar versus Mysterio would spark a fun rivalry, and if Dom pulls off the upset, it'd rank as one of the greatest underdog wins in wrestling ever. Bron Breakker versus Brock Lesnar is the kind of fight both guys have to get. For Breakker, it's one of those thrilling clashes with past beasts who seemed like they couldn't be stopped. For the Beast, though, Breakker stands as one of the rare bouts he truly needs, especially at his age, where he can still pull it off. With Breakker climbing fast, Lesnar fresh in WWE, the Paul Heyman twist, and a tight window to craft something huge, Bron Breakker tops the list of who should face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 42. When it comes to full-time stars, Gunther has ruled as WWE's ultimate end boss these last few years. He's only tapped or pinned by Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, and CM Punk. The longest-running Intercontinental Champion comes closest to a full-time Brock Lesnar-style powerhouse. Plus, Gunther's flat out one of the world's elite, not just played that way on screen. Lesnar versus Gunther would be a true monster smash, and taking down Lesnar would let Gunther bounce back after 2 losses this year while stacking his legacy higher. Gunther might just be the guy to hang up Brock Lesnar's boots, whether soon or way down the line.